everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to ChasingCinema.com's official YouTube channel. This is my week 29 update of my 365-day movie challenge. Each week I sit there and I talk about the 7 films that I watched, 7 new films that I watched during the week to continue my challenge to watch one brand new film every single day. Now, this week again didn't have a theme, and I know some people are asking me on Twitter and stuff, why is there a theme these past 2 weeks, and even in the week that I'm doing right now, because it is later, it's Wednesday. They usually come out on Monday. It's just because there's a lot coming out. I'm doing a lot and seeing a lot in theaters, so it kind of makes it hard to do a theme when I have to see 3 or 4 films in the movie theater already. But don't worry, guys, we're going to be doing themes very, very soon, and we have some really interesting stuff coming out. But all right, let's hop right into my Week 29 update. First, Day 197 of 365-Day Challenge, I watched Lights Out. Now, Lights Out has gotten a lot of mixed reviews. Some people hate it, some people love it, some people just I was someone that actually quite enjoyed this movie. I thought that the scares were there. I thought the story was silly, and like the origins of Diana, who is our antagonist in this movie, is quite silly. But throughout the movie, I found myself smiling and having a good time, and it reminded me of a haunted house, right? Like, haunted houses don't always have a story. There's kind of a story, you know, you're going through this thing, and they try to connect everything. But it's just about being scared and getting jumped, right? Horror can be separated into 2 categories. The very, very deep and rich horror films like The Shining and Rosemary's Baby. And then we have these kind of films that are just for the pop-out scare. They just want to scare you. They're PG-13. They're meant for a younger audience. And for me, this film worked in that sense. It worked as a fun movie to jump to have like a few scares. I was explained to Louis Vuitton, and you could see my full review. If you click that white eye, a bunch of links to drop down, you'll see my full review for Lights Out. That, like, you know, some horror films are a rich Gordon Ramsay burger, and then sometimes you just need to get, and then some horror films are like Big Macs. And sometimes you just gotta go with the Big Mac. And Lights Out is the Big Mac, if that makes sense. Day 198 of the 365-Day Challenge, I watched the film Ghost Heads, which is an interesting documentary about the groups and individuals' lives that were changed by the Ghostbusters film. It's just about these dedicated, diehard Ghostbuster fans. And I thought it was really interesting, and I think that learning about these people and how Ghostbusters touched them, or, you know, was kind of moving. You know, seeing these people cry and talk about how they are given this sense of purpose with this film and dressing up as Ghostbusters. I thought it was really nice, but I think it does lose its steam quite quickly. Like, I was kind of over it very early, and even with the runtime of an hour and 12 minutes, it feels too long. It should have been more like a 30-40 minute bonus feature on the new Ghostbusters Blu-ray. I think it's fun. I think it's a great one-time watch, but nothing memorable or something that I ever cared to revisit it. It was definitely a movie for the fans of the movie. Like, if you're a fan of the Ghostbusters, though, check it out, because you get to see some really cool stuff and what people have done to kind of replicate the classic memorabilia. But that's about it. Day 199 of the 365-Day Movie Challenge, I watched the 1988 film, which was the debut of Christopher Nolan, called Following. And I thought Following, a movie that I've heard a lot about and had much intention on seeing, but just never did. You know, being a fan of Christopher Nolan, sometimes I love Christopher Nolan, sometimes I really don't like him. But Following was one that I really enjoyed. I think it's an incredibly stylish film that focuses on something that most Nolan movies do, and that's obsession. It's focused, it's short, and straight to the point. There's no maze of mysteries like in the majority of Nolan's work. Like, there are some plot twists in this, but it's not like this very overcomplicated, multi-leveled Inception type thinking. It has its issues, but it's hard not to enjoy this film. It's in beautiful black and white, and it kind of gives us this beautiful, and it gives it this really interesting noir feeling. The Following is, regardless of the minor flaws, an outstanding debut for any filmmaker, and it really screams the arrival of a filmmaker. Watching that, you know, even though I know where Nolan's career has taken him, it just says, like, I have arrived and you're going to see interesting things from me. Day 200 of the 365-Day Movie Challenge, I watched Star Trek Beyond. Now, my full review, if you click this white eye, a bunch of links drop down, you'll be able to watch my Star Trek Beyond review, Mr. James Shue. However, I will tell you very simply that I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun, and it really brings back that exploration feeling of teamwork and going to explore the outer space and finding new planets and creatures and species that the original series really held in high regard, and I really enjoyed that about this movie. But go check out that full review, much more amazing. Day 201 of the 365 Day Movie Challenge, I watched Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. I always thought it was Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, so if I say that, excuse me, but it's Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. And this movie was an incredibly fresh coming-to-age story that I absolutely love. It is filmed with charm and wittiness, and it really depends on a strong script and a group of talented young characters, or young actors playing young characters that each have a ton of charisma. Each of them have different personalities, but each of them are likable and unlikable in their own way. And I mean, three fantastic performances. Thomas Mann, R.J. Seiler, and Olivia Cooke, and they're all three phenomenal in this movie. It is a film that has a passion for cinema. You know, there's a lot of cinematic references in the movie, straight, call-outs. The two main characters are constantly remaking Criterion Collection films and putting a little spin on it. We have a lot of Burden of Dreams, a movie that I reviewed a few weeks back on this 365 Day Movie Challenge playlist. They have a lot of references to Burden of Dreams and other films from Werner Herzog, which is really nice. And it's really about movies that have inspired these filmmakers, and they've managed to really honor all of those. It is just a stylish and clever film. Me and Earl and the Dying Girl made me laugh, and when it was over, I was extremely moved. I could not recommend this movie enough, and it would probably be the movie that I recommend out of the week. My favorite of the week was definitely Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Okay, this is going to be rough. Day 202 of the 365 Day Movie Challenge, I watched the 2012 film. At one point was known as Snowtown, now known as the Snowtown Murders on Netflix. And this was one of the most heavy-handed, depressing films I've seen in a long time. I mean, it is not for the faint-hearted. This was a movie that really, really got to me and depressed me. I've managed to watch a lot of films, and they affect my mood, but not to a degree like this movie did. This movie is based on a true story, and it feels like an endurance test. I mean, the things that you see in this movie, not that they're extremely disturbing things in this movie, but I wouldn't be like, oh, watch this because it is the stuff you've never seen before. But, I mean, it goes so dark and heavy, and this is based on a real story, and just the way, obviously, the tone of the movie, it just really brought me, it's a really well-crafted movie, but it depresses the hell out of me. I don't even want to talk about it because it really put me in a dark place. I was just really bummed out after watching this movie, which just attests to how good it is. But those are one of those situations you're like, damn, it's give and take. This is a great movie, and a movie that can really capture your mood and really put you somewhere dark and scary where these characters were, but at the same time, no one really likes being there. And most of the time, a lot of times, I'm willing to go. And I was willing to go in this case, but sometimes you come back and it's like, man, I don't know if I'd ever want to do that again. It really reminds me of Monster, which also put me in this place. It's a real look at the people behind these killings, and it's not something to easily look at. But the Snowtown Murders has some amazing performances, especially from Daniel Henshaw, who plays the main character, and he is outstanding and terrifying. The movie also has a great visual style. It's truly a portrait of evil, a real serial killer, and it's terrifying and truly, truly disturbing. I think one of the only terms that came to mind when I talk about the Snowtown Murders is spine tingling. That movie really just horrified me, and it's definitely a one-time watch because I don't know if I'd ever be willing to go back and revisit that dark, dark place. But I mean, it is captivating and wonderfully crafted. And day 203, concluding week 29, I watched Woody Allen's Scoop, a much lighter, happier, funny movie, which really I needed after watching the Snowtown Murders. Scoop is definitely regarded as one of Woody Allen's worst movies, and I completely disagree. Maybe it's just because I don't think Woody Allen can make worst movies. I've seen a ton of Woody Allen, including some of his worst, And I can't help but think, nah, they're not that bad. I mean, maybe I'm too biased. Maybe I'm such a fan of Alan that I don't see all of his flaws or don't own up to all of his flaws. But I mean, I think this movie was affable. It was affable. Yeah, Scoop isn't great, but it's not that bad. I mean, it allows us to spend time with Woody Allen as this magician named Splendini. And the story is charming and witty. I mean, no, it's nowhere near Annie Hall or Hannah and Her Sisters or Manhattan or Crimes and Misdeeds. Nothing like that. But even his mediocre work is better than a lot of stuff out there. And I would say Scoop is an interesting, little, odd, offbeat movie. Overall, my one recommendation this week would be Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Unless you are looking for something that will bring you on an emotional journey and really put you in a dark place, then watch the Snowtown Murders. Like I said, don't take those things as a form of criticism against the movie, because that's what that movie intended to do, was to depress you, to scare the hell out of you, and really put you in that place. So again, really, really great doing so, but that's not always fun, and that's not for everybody. So make sure to go check out those films. Also, make sure to check out my review for Nerve, the new film, Click That White Eye, and The Killing Joke. Just click that white eye. A bunch of links are going to drop down. Make sure to watch those. If you have any recommendations or comments, let me know down here in the comment sections below. If you've enjoyed this video, slap a like on it. Lets me know I'm doing a good job. And please, to never miss a video, hit that subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jacob Tiranno, and please continue chasing cinema.